Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be making MacGyver's Jeep from the 1980s TV show. And it's a Jeep Wrangler and I'm going to be using a Matchbox one. And this is a 2020 Matchbox Jurassic Park Jeep. So it's the right body shape, but we'll have to do a few modifications to it. See, it's got the full roll cage on it, which we don't want. It's also got that bar over the front windscreen there. So there's a bit of work to do. We'll crack on and take it apart. The original MacGyver TV series ran from 1985 until 1992. I'd probably say at the time I was 8 when it came out. It was probably my favourite program. I remember we had a swimming pool over the road from us where we'd spend most of the days and the weekends. And I quite vividly remember rushing home to watch MacGyver. And it was pretty prime time viewing in those days. There's the car disassembled. Next I'm going to use some paint stripper to remove the paint from the casting. And here it is after the paint's been washed off. Next thing I'm going to do is take my saw here and cut the doors out. I think in some of the earlier episodes with this Jeep it did have the doors and a canvas top on it. But in most of the episodes it didn't have any doors and just the roll bar. So you can see here that the interior's got those panels on the side there. We don't want those, so I'll cut them out. Just use a craft knife for this, it's quite soft plastic. So there's the panels gone, but it's still not looking quite right. So I've cut out the bottom of the dash there. I'm going to be replacing the steering wheel, so I've cut that out. And here I've filled up the gap under the dash with some epoxy putty. And I've added a styrene floor in there. So that's looking a lot better now. Next I'll move on to the roll cage section. I'm going to cut the front of it off and those rear bars, so they're not the right style. Next I give this a bit of a tidy up with some sandpaper, and then I added some more bars made out of styrene. Next I've cut this little section off of the remainder of the roll bar, and I have to put this in between the interior and the windscreen. It's got a little spacer, otherwise the windscreen would be a bit loose. The windscreen's got this bar around it, which we don't want. I'm going to use a sanding drum on my Dremel and carefully remove this. And once I'd removed the bulk of it, I gave it a clean up with the needle files and some sandpaper. Now that the fabrication was pretty much done, I could give the casting a burnishing with the wire brush on my rotary tool. And I also drilled and tapped the posts. Here's a little replacement steering wheel I have. The shaft on it's quite small and short, so I'm just going to use my pin vise and a little drill to hollow out a piece of styrene rod. And there I can just fit the steering wheel in, and I can cut the shaft a bit longer. And then I just drilled a little hole into the dash, and I glued the new steering wheel in, so I think that's looking a bit better than the old one. Taking a look at the base, MacGyver's Jeep never had a winch on it, so I'm going to cut that off. I've just tidied it up as best that I can. It's pretty difficult to sand the soft plastic. And so there are all of our parts fabricated. The next step is to start applying some paint. So I'll start out with the body of the Jeep. I begin with a coat of grey primer, and then I'm painting it a dark brown with just a touch of metallic in it. Next I add some details. And then, as MacGyver's Jeep was always pretty grubby and weathered looking, I'm applying some dust weathering powder all over the body. And this was sealed with some clear coat, which does actually dull down the weathering a little bit, so it's not quite as intense as it looks there. The interior parts were painted black. Also detailed the rim on that spare tyre. The base was painted black, and I detailed it. Just did those front lights there and added a license plate. And again with some weathering powder. Here's the windscreen after I've painted it. So I'm just going to reuse the original wheels as they're not that dissimilar. They're 6-spoke rather than 5-spoke. But I don't have anything that's really closer. The rims were painted in aluminium and then weathering applied. So there's all our colours added, and here are all the parts of MacGyver's Jeep, customised, repainted and ready to go back together. So while I MacGyver this thing back together in the background, let's just take a moment to look back and be reminded of what we started with. So here it is, trying to roll off the turntable, our little Jeep Wrangler from Matchbox, all the way from Jurassic Park. I guess they won't be needing it there anymore. So let's MacGyver it up. And here it is, our finished custom MacGyver's Jeep Wrangler. I've gotten rid of that bar over the windscreen, taken the doors out, given it the correct roll bar, and of course it's had the grubby weathered brown MacGyver paint job. This was a really fun project to do from one of my favourite shows of my childhood. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you used to watch MacGyver when you were young? Before I go, a big shout out to my awesome Patreon supporters. Thanks heaps for helping to support the channel. If you'd like to help as well, check out the link in the description down below. And thanks heaps to you for watching this video. I really hope you oh lord, it's my dogs. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you'd like to see more similar stuff, remember to subscribe and click the bell so that you get notifications. And check out my channel page, as there's dozens more videos just like this one.